Right now, half the internet is dead certain the FDA is about to ban your favorite peptide forever. The other half is throwing a massive party saying it's been legalized. And you know what the funny thing is? They're both looking at the exact same meeting and they're both wrong. I'm a chartered chemical process engineer, which just means I get paid to read boring government documents so you don't have to. And I've read this one. And stick around because there's a twist at the very end. Even if this vote passes, it might not change anything at all. Welcome back to Peptide Corner. I'm Tom, the only channel where a guy who normally designs chemical plants gets genuinely excited about pharmacy committee agendas. Just some quick housekeeping. This video is for educational and research purposes only, not medical advice. I'm not a doctor, I'm an engineer. I won't tell you what to take or where to get it from. What I will do is arm you with all the information you need to understand exactly what's going on. If that's your thing, please smash that like button, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon. We're still a small channel, and honestly, it helps more than you'd think. Right, to the docket. So let's start with the event that everybody is shouting about. On July 23 and 24, the FDA's Pharmacy Compounding Advisory Committee, PCAC, is going to sit down in a conference room that I guarantee you has worse coffee than your office. And here's what they're actually deciding. Whether to add 7 peptides to something called the 503A Bulk Drug Substances List. Names you'll recognize: BPC 157, TB 500, MOTS-C, Semax, Epitalon, plus 2 quieter ones, KPV and DSIP. Quick side note, 5 of those 7 I've already done full breakdowns on. They're right here on the channel if you want real science. And that list, the 503A list, is basically where everybody loses the plot, because it doesn't mean what either camp thinks it does. I want you to picture the approved chemicals list at any chemical plant. Every site has a storeroom and a master list of ingredients that the plant is officially allowed to keep on the shelf and work with. If it's not on the list, it doesn't come through the gate. Now let's look at the actual mechanism. The 503A list is the FDA's approved ingredient list for compounding pharmacies. The pharmacies that mix medicine to order to one patient on one prescription. If a peptide is on this list, that's a category 1. A pharmacist is legally allowed to compound with it. If it's flagged off, category 2, it's benched over safety concerns and they can't use it at all. But the thing is, and I want you to write this down, being on the approved list does not mean the FDA has certified it's safe and effective. It's not an approval. No proven doses, no guaranteed benefits, and no promises it even works. It just means a pharmacist is allowed to keep it in their storeroom. So if a list is just the storeroom shelf, where did the ban story come from? And for that, we need to rewind back a bit. Here's where it really gets messy. And those 2 clickbait headlines were born. Same event, just 2 people describing the same elephant from opposite ends. Let's untangle the timeline a bit. Thread 1 is the ban. Back in 2023, the FDA moved a whole batch of these peptides from category 1 into category 2, effectively benching and restricting their use. Citing things like immune reactions and thin human data, stuff that's already happened. That's the restriction the ban crowd is still reacting to. The second is the legalized thread. Earlier this year in February, the HHS, that's RFK Jr.'s department, announced the intention to move roughly 14 of those 19 peptides from category 2 back to category 1. That's the party the legalized crowd is throwing. So what's the catch? An announcement of intention isn't the actual done deal. It's just a memo. It's not law. And closing that gap, that's what July 23rd and 24th is really all about. So it's really important you understand exactly what the committee is going to do in that room. They're going to hear both cases for and against the peptide, and they're going to vote either with a thumbs up or a thumbs down on adding it back to the category 1 list. But here is the $1 million question. Does their vote actually make it law? And the answer is not even close. The committee's vote is only a recommendation. It's non-binding. The FDA doesn't even need to follow it. And even if the FDA agrees, actually adding a peptide to the list needs full rulemaking processes. It needs public comment, it needs paperwork, it needs the works. That can take more than a year. So picture this, come the 24th, the committee could give a glowing thumbs up for all 7 peptides. And practically, nothing changes the next morning. It's the same legal status, the same grey market for months. That's the twist I promised you at the start. The bottom line is this, July 23 and 24th, it's not a ban, and it's not a green light either. It's a committee making a non-binding recommendation about which peptides pharmacies are allowed to keep on the shelf. A recommendation that still has to survive the FDA and a year of rulemaking. So remember, anyone selling you a ban forever or a now legal status is selling you a headline and not the truth. And by the way, did you notice what none of this changed? Not one word of it tells you a single peptide is safe, effective, or right for you. That part hasn't moved an inch. Regulatory status and real evidence are 2 different questions. Don't let anyone blur them. So here's what I actually want to know down in the comments below. Should the committee wave these 7 through on the evidence that we've currently got? Or should they hold the line until human data is stronger? Because that is the real fight that's happening in that room. And I'm genuinely curious to know where you land. And just remember, this is part 1. I'm going to monitor exactly what happens on the 23rd and 24th of July. And the moment we know what's decided, I'll come right back to you with part 2. What actually happened, what it means for you. So make sure to subscribe so that you don't miss it. Until next time, keep safe, keep skeptical, and I'll see you right back here on Peptide Corner.